the different brainwave states and the most ideal for manifestation. Okay, so there are many brainwave states. The first one is delta waves. So delta waves is probably your lowest when you're in deep sleep. Okay, so it's like 0.1 to 4 hertz. Okay, and that's the vibration that you get when you're in delta, when your brain is in delta. Okay, now during this stage of sleep, okay, this is for healing. So if you want to heal, right, you want to be in delta state, okay, because delta promotes healing. Okay, it's also associated with no dreaming. So if you're in delta state, good morning, Jay. Jay is back moderating with us. So we'd like to say good morning. Good morning. All right, you guys. So so delta waves are also associated with you know like unlike REM sleep, right? REM sleep is like when you're dreaming, okay? But there's no dreaming during delta, so it's the deepest form or the lowest rate of brainwaves. Okay, so the next is theta waves. Now, theta waves is important because theta waves is the ideal state that your brain is in when you are manifesting something, because things go straight into your subconscious. Okay, so during theta is like when you first wake up in the morning, or like when you're on your way to sleep in the evening. Okay, and these are the times that you want to write down your affirmation. These are the times that you want to tell yourself the story of what's going to happen tomorrow. Okay, so when you start doing this, when you start saying these things, okay, let's say you're on your way to bed, you're fully relaxed. So theta waves is between 4 and 8 hertz. Now let's say you're fully relaxed. Okay, now tell yourself the story about what you're going to do tomorrow. What is tomorrow going to be like? And you can just tell yourself the story. So what you're doing is a dress rehearsal of sorts. So tell yourself, tomorrow morning when I get up, I'm going to make breakfast, I'm going to get in the car, I'm going to drive to work, I'm going to knock out the projects that, whatever, this, that, whatever, and tell yourself the story. Rehearse the story about what tomorrow is going to be like. When you're in theta, these things go directly into your subconscious. Or let's say it another way, your subconscious is more receptive in theta state. Okay, now this is linked to creativity, intuition, okay? And remember, intuition comes from the superconscious or consciousness, okay? But it communicates with your subconscious. So when your subconscious, when your brain is in theta, your subconscious is very receptive. It's listening, okay? Emotional insight, creativity, intuition, all of these things, okay? So your brain is more receptive to instruction at that point. Okay, now this is ideal for accessing the subconscious, because now whatever you say, whatever you write, so you write your affirmations first thing in the morning when you just wake up. So what I do is I keep mine by the nightstand. So this is like one that I did, this is the one I'm working on now. It kind of looks like that, okay, because I've only worked a little bit through it. But this one is the one I just finished. I finished this about a couple months ago. And so these are affirmations. So these are affirmations. The dates are on the side like that. And what it is when you do this, right, you do it first thing in the morning when you just get up and when you're on your way to bed. So what I do is I keep it on my nightstand. Okay, I've been doing this since 2007. Now, it looks crazy, right? I have this video that I put up. If you're on TikTok right now, you can see it. It's posted. If you're on Instagram, it's posted. You can see it. If you're on Facebook, I don't think I have it posted on Facebook. Once in a while, I'll put it on Facebook stories. But I'll put it on today so you guys can see it. I'll post it sometime today. I'll go look for it. But it's like a stack of legal pads that big. And, those are years and years of affirmations. Now, why would you write affirmations for years and years and years? It's because your subconscious is like a muscle and you need to exercise it. If you don't use it, it doesn't sharpen. So everything in the human body, everything, including your subconscious, okay, needs to be worked, needs to be exercised. Everything is energy. if you don't use it, okay, you don't lose it. So it's not like if you don't use it, you lose it kind of thing. It's not that. But if you don't use it, if you don't exercise it, if you don't take one of these, okay, if you don't take one of these and you don't exercise it regularly or give it commands, then it just does whatever it has in it. Okay, good morning, Costas. It will keep running the same program. So why would you do affirmations every day, like every day of your life? To condition your subconscious, to keep the direction. Because otherwise, like yesterday we were saying, right? The rudderless boat, the boat just goes here, goes there, goes with the tide, the waves go up, the waves go down, it kind of goes like that. And then that's when you get the victim mentality from. Why? Because everything happens to me. Life doesn't happen to you. Life happens for you. Life unfolds for you. You have a life path that unfolds for you. Life doesn't happen to you. If you think that life happens to you, then you're not intentionally planning your life. And if you plan your life intentionally, okay, now it's impossible to plan every single little event, right? Because things do happen. But to put the rudder on that boat, to make that boat go here or here or here, to direct it to where you want to go, that's the key. And that's why they say the pen is more powerful than the sword, okay? So that's your theta waves, okay? So theta waves is ideal for subconscious learning, for subconscious programming, for subconscious suggestion, okay, or instruction. Your subconscious just takes orders. It's an order taker. You give it orders, it obeys. There's no judgment with the subconscious. Your subconscious does not know reality from fantasy. It doesn't know if you're speaking to yourself or if you're speaking to someone else. This is why guarding your speech is important. Okay, we don't always guard our speech. I don't always guard my speech. But let's say, for example, like we were talking about yesterday, where you speak against someone. Your subconscious doesn't know if you're speaking against them or if you're speaking against this one. And then what happens to this one? Low self-esteem. And you can't figure out why. You feel kind of, like that, right? Like you don't feel very good about yourself, but you don't know why. And you won't know why unless you start asking. Okay. When you ask, you will receive the answer. From here, the kingdom is within. Everything is in here. Everything is in you. When you ask the question, you will receive answers. The intuitive thought that you get are the answers. Yes, we are all connected. That's the first universal law, Costas. You're correct. Good evening. From Greece. Thank you very much. Aloha from Hawaii. So the subconscious is what judges. How does it do that? Well, you pronounce the judgment first. The subconscious recognizes it, says, oh, okay, that's what we're doing. You can get in the habit of being angry. You can get in the habit of being pleasant. You can get in the habit of being loving. You can get in the habit of being judgmental. Your subconscious learns all of it. That's why you use the pen. That's why you write affirmations. That's why you speak affirmations. When you affirm to the subconscious carries it out as a task. Okay? Now, alpha waves are 8 to 12 hertz. Alpha waves are when you're in a relaxed mode, but you're still alert. Okay, calm, focus, alpha waves. When you're calm but awake. Okay, you're not sleeping, you're not in theta state, it's right above theta state, alpha state. Okay, now what this does is in this state, it bridges the gap between conscious thinking and subconscious awareness. It's right in the middle. Okay, it's between 8 and 12 hertz. So when you're in theta, your subconscious is more receptive. When you're in alpha, you're right above that level, okay? Right above that is beta waves, okay? So beta is right above alpha, between 12 and 30 hertz. And that's when you're alert, okay? When you're focused, when you're working, when you're actively thinking, problem solving, decision making, okay? When you're focused on something, okay? It's productivity. It's associated with mental sharpness, when you're thinking, when you're problem solving, doing math, that kind of thing, okay? Now, if you get overactive in beta state, what happens? Burnout. Okay. So some people hyperfocus. Okay, I have ADHD, so I hyperfocus a lot. Okay, hyperfocus is when you can focus for an extended period of time. So, you know, what we say about, you know, ADHD is that it's a blessing and a curse. Okay, many things are like that, right? There's a good side and there's the bad side. And you need to focus on the good side. Because you can go from the glass half empty to the glass half full pretty quickly with ADHD. You know, a lot of people hire me to work with their kids with ADHD because they know I have it and they know I can relate, right? And here's what I tell the kids, right? I tell the kids it's a superpower because they can do things that the average person can't do simply because of the H in ADHD, the hyperactivity. Okay, you can last longer. So an ADHD person can mentally outrun the average person because at a certain point you lose focus. So it's beta waves, right? Extended amount of beta waves are necessary, or for your brain to be in beta state is necessary to hyperfocus for a longer period of time. The average person gives up. The average person goes, you know, I'm tired of concentrating already. You know, it's time to read a book, time to relax mentally, you know, that kind of thing. Habit to be successful. Yes, you can form all those habits. Dr. Joe Dispenza, yep, he says the same thing. Yeah, so Costas, what you need to understand is that it doesn't matter if you're watching Joe Dispenza, doesn't matter if you're, you know, watching Tony Robbins, Rhonda Byrne, it goes on and on. They are all talking about subconscious training. It's all there is only the conscious, subconscious, and superconscious. That's it. Everyone has their avenue. So Dr. Dispenza focuses on meditation, guided meditation as his avenue. Tony Robbins is motivation, you know, but it all goes back to the same thing. Yeah. So higher beta wave states, when your brain is in beta, is associated with overthinking. Why? Because it's beginning to get very, very active. Okay, when you overthink, okay, overthinking is very common, very common. Okay, and you have an imagination, which makes it even more colorful, right? Makes it even worse. So, but overthinking, how do you slow down overthinking? Affirmations, meditation, vocalization, and visualization. So when you're focused on one of those things, you can affect the subconscious. But when you incorporate all four pillars directed at a goal, or let's say attempting to manifest something, either way, right? Goal setting, you can call it manifestation. Manifestation makes it sound mysterious and mystical, if you prefer that, yeah. But it's only conscious, subconscious, and superconscious. That's all there is. Okay, now the superconscious you can call God. I'm not here to tell you what to believe, okay? You can call it, consciousness. Okay, we're all plugged into it. We're all plugged into that energy. But when you have an increased activity in beta state, okay, that's linked with stress, anxiety, restlessness, all of that. You're experiencing a greater amount of beta waves or beta state. So what's the cure? Affirmations, meditation, vocalization, visualization. That's all there is. Okay, those are the fastest. So out of all of those, there are two that are the fastest. Okay, that affect the subconscious very quickly. One of them is your voice. One of them is your image. Because your subconscious recognizes you above anyone else first. It also recognizes your voice over anyone else's first. So what's a good way to do that? Well, there's a couple of things. In Hawaii, I registered something called self-formations. Self-formations are very easy to do. My clients do it all the time. It works very quickly. Okay, so what I have my clients do is I have them write out 100 positive I ams. Okay, so they write out 100 of them. Sometimes it takes 2 sessions. Sometimes, they need to think, they need to process, they need to go over it. 100 so I am friendly, I am kind, I am generous, I am happy, I am, okay, 100. Then what you do is you speak it into a recorder, like into your phone. Your phone has a recorder, okay, or whatever device that you have. Some people have small little digital recorders. And you read it onto the recorder. And then you listen to it once a day. You listen to 100 affirmations, okay? Every day, once a day, the same 100 affirmations. Those are called self-formations. Why? Because you're listening to yourself. Now, your subconscious recognizes yourself, your voice, over everyone else's. So, for example, if you're sitting in a class or you're sitting on a live like this with someone like me, okay, and I'm instructing you to do things, or I'm offering you information, or I'm offering you advice on something, and then you listen to yourself on a recorder giving you instructions, or 100 positive I ams in this case, your voice will be more effective than mine. That's how the subconscious works. Okay, now above beta is gamma. Now gamma is peak mental performance. Okay, heightened perception, heightened awareness. Gamma waves are between 3 and 100 hertz. Okay, remember when we were talking about the law of vibration? Everything has a vibration, everything has a frequency. So gamma is about 30 to 100 hertz. So it's a higher state of consciousness. It's a higher state of awareness. It's bliss. It's unified perception. It's when you recognize that everything is relative. Okay? Everything is relative to everything else. The law of relativity. Sound and frequency. How do you achieve gamma wave? Meditation. Meditation's a good way. Affirmations, meditation, vocalization, visualization. So the meditation part, okay, is to tune in, to allow. Okay, it's also high complex problem solving. How do you do that? There's something called flow state. Look it up. Flow state. When you achieve flow state, it's not that you're pushing. It's not mentally pushing. It's clearing so that everything happens quickly, everything happens automatically, everything flows. Sure, no problem. Yeah. I'm sorry, I don't know how to pronounce your name. Shwetu? Yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome. So it's a high level of cognitive state is what it is. Gamma waves. Okay, so when when the veil lifts, okay, you have that moment of clarity. That's gamma. When you start to realize that things are connected, you start to see the connectivity. You start to, the veil lifts and you start to see things for what they really are. Heightened perception, heightened awareness. Women have these events far more than men. Okay, and that's why they call it women's intuition. Okay, and they're engineered like this because they give birth to young. They have to watch babies. They have to perceive and be far more sensitive than men do. I always tell my clients it's because you have to be on the phone, cook dinner, and watch baby all at the same time. Okay, that's just being funny about it, but yeah, there's multitasking involved. But you can always find the creep in the room real fast when you bring a girl with you, right? Bring a girl into Starbucks with you, she will identify the shady guy right away, right? Because she can sense it. It's women's intuition. It's a heightened state of awareness. It's heightened perception. But it happens very quickly, and it happens naturally once you're clear. Hi, Aura. Good morning. So once you're clear, what does that mean? It just means the absence of. The absence of what? The absence of worry. The absence of stress. The absence of overthinking. When you're clear, things happen like this. Thoughts happen like this. Flow state happens like this. And things just naturally fall into place and play out. Because there's nothing to interfere. Nothing interferes. Resistance, on the other hand, interferes. Okay, resistance can look like this. Okay, so resistance, push, work harder, push. That's like saying, I want to make things go my way, like this. Push. I was very fortunate to meet the foremost authority on quantum physics, Dr. Amit Goswami. He's from India. And he came to speak in Hawaii. I was fortunate enough to talk to him. And he said, you Westerners do it all wrong. He said, we don't do this in the East. I said, what do you mean? He said, well, you guys push. In business, in industry, you guys push. He goes, when you do this, you keep all of your blessings out here. Because everything is vibration. Everything is frequency. Now when you have this forward momentum of pushing, your blessings cannot get to you. It's trying, but it can't get to you. Why? Because you're pushing. You're keeping it out here. So I asked him, I said, what's the solution? He said, first you do, and then you be. And then you do, and then you be. And then he said, doobie doobie doo. And we thought that was funny. You know, he was very, he had a good sense of humor. He was very funny. But he is the foremost, he's one of two, I believe, two or three leading experts in quantum physics in the world. You can look him up, Dr. Amit Goswami, Goswami. Goswami. Yeah, the force keeps it out. Yeah. And it's the exertion of energy, Aura. That's what it is. It's the exertion when you're exerting energy. Everything is energy. Everything is energy. This is why relaxation is necessary. This is why meditation is necessary. This is why breaks are necessary. Breaks are necessary for the physical, right? So you don't get burnt out. But it's also for the spiritual. So you stop pushing. Okay, this is resistance. When you drop the resistance, blessings come. So remember, yesterday we were talking about universal laws and the law of rhythm. Everything has a rhythm. Every energy has a rhythm. When you start to observe the rhythm of things, you can see how things work. It doesn't matter if it's a thought. It doesn't matter if it's an emotion. It doesn't matter if it's money. They are all energetic. Everything is energy. So when you're watching money, right? Money comes in, money goes out. Money comes in, money goes out. But it's all coinciding with your mood. Have you ever noticed when there's a lot of money, you're happy? And then money keeps coming, things keep going on. Good times, right? Money runs out, what happens? Mood goes down. Okay. When the mood goes down, what happens? Money slows down. You would be ashamed for taking breaks? Yeah. So Ara, what you're describing is plantation mentality. We were taught that. Yeah, it's not about working hard. It's about rhythm. Conditioning, exactly. Conditioning, yeah. We were conditioned to believe those things because back in the day, you know, you can call it factory mentality, you can call it, you know, plantation mentality, but they wanted workers. They didn't want thinkers. They didn't want people to think. They wanted people to work. They needed energy. You know, when they were building railroads in the Industrial Revolution, they needed steel workers. They needed people to do manual labor. So that's where we got that from. And it also comes down genetically. Just know that. These tendencies are also genetic. So when these genetic tendencies come down, you see little children that are overthinkers. They're automatically overthinkers. Why? Because their parents were conditioned to overthink. Their grandparents were conditioned to overthink. These things are genetic. Okay, I didn't know this until I owned a horse. You know, horses and humans are not too far apart physically. They have the same diseases. They have the same emotional challenges. Okay, some horses are very hyper. Some horses are very laid back. Okay, but when you train a horse and the horse gets smarter, and I didn't know this, I had to learn this. You know, fortunately I had like the best horse trainer around. And you know, and that was God going, here, you need this guy. That's what I keep telling you guys about the superconscious, you know. And what he taught me was, well, when you train a horse really, really well, and it gives birth to babies, the babies are smart because the horse got educated. It's the same with humans. And the other thing is that humans are subject to their environment. If you put a human in a better environment, they automatically rise to the environment. Their frequency automatically raises to the environment. If you leave them in the lower vibrational environment, they succumb to that. Because we're chameleons. We're that sensitive inside. We adapt. We adapt to anything. And you know this. You see these guys, they go to war, right? They get their legs blown off. They come back, they get artificial legs, right? Mechanical legs. And then they're running faster than when they had their original legs because they adapt. Human beings are very adaptable. But we also adapt to the environment. Need for sleep or for rest only. So human beings don't need that much sleep, Costas. They don't need as much sleep as they do rest. Rest is more important for a human. Yeah. Thank you for the question. So you probably only need 5 or 6 hours of sleep. I know they say 8 hours. Try sleeping for 8 hours and see how productive you are. So it's going to affect your brainwave state. Too little sleep, and you're going to have trouble focusing. For me, it's even harder. I have ADHD, so I need a little sleep. Although, with ADHD, the H part, the hyper part, the tendency is to go, hyper focus, that kind of thing. And when that happens, productivity starts to lower over time. The longer you go, productivity starts to go down. Okay, so it's always important. I have to remind myself to get more sleep sometimes. Anyway, so those are the brainwave states. Okay, so theta and alpha are your subconscious brainwave states. Okay, those are the ideal for your subconscious training. And you have to know that everything is subconscious. And like I always say, you can form good habits as fast as you can bad habits. Oh, I'm Junior Kekuewa Jr. You can, yeah. So Jay, can you type my name in the chat so that Shwetu can look me up? I hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly. Shwetou. Shwetu? Yeah. Thank you, Jay. So anyway, oh, I am? Oh, okay, thank you very much. I tried my best, thank you. So just know that good habits are easily attainable, easily attainable. We have been taught, we have been conditioned to believe, okay, many things. One of the things is that good habits are hard to establish. It's hard to do this good thing. It's hard to, whatever it is, right? It's hard. It's hard to do my work. It's hard to establish good work habits. It's hard to do this. No, it's not hard. And like I said, some people are born into it. Genetically, it comes down the pipe, so to speak. The genetic line. Okay, but it's easy to get into good habits. Establish a routine. It's really frustrating. I've had to break my routine for a month now because my foot is healing. But I had to break my routine for 1 month so far. It's very frustrating to break a routine. I have a certain routine I follow, and I've had to break this routine. So no gym, no running, no walking. It's very frustrating. I can walk, but normally walk 4 miles a day. I run a little bit, walk a little bit, kind of thing. But it's very frustrating to have a routine and then break it. Okay, now to not have a routine and then to form a routine is very easy. It's not difficult. Okay, use your calendar in your phone. If you're watching me, you have a phone. Use your calendar. Okay, so one of the things I used to do for productivity purposes was I used to schedule block time, okay? So I work in block time, I still do. When you work in block time, you're going to find that you can be more productive. So block time is like 1 hour for this, 1 hour for that, 1 hour for answering emails, 1 hour for, whatever, right? 1 hour for doing your paperwork, 1 hour for doing your billing, 1 hour for whatever. But in between, schedule breaks. And what I call it is mouse down. For years, I've done that for years. So when I was building my third company, especially, it was our VMAC Consultants. We were converting our production company into VMAC Consultants is what we were doing. And it was a process, but I had to schedule in breaks because the work was pretty intense. We were doing three companies worth of work in one calendar day, like jumping from this to that, to this, to that, to this, to that. And so I had this thing called mouse down. So I had to put the mouse down every time I saw a mouse down on the calendar. And all you need to do really is follow your plan. So set your plan. Set your plan, set your calendar. My calendar looked crazy for a while because everything was set in the calendar. But this is subconscious training because the subconscious learns in repetition. So once you commit this, okay, so Dr. Dispenza, Costas, yeah, you programmed the subconscious, exactly. And like you mentioned, Dr. Dispenza, right? So he focuses on having the body do it better than you. What does that mean? Your subconscious will do it better than your conscious mind. So you don't have to think about it. Do you have to think about brushing your teeth? No, you just brush it, right? You know the drill. When you're driving to work Monday through Friday, and then Saturday you want to go to the store, and then you find yourself driving to work, and you have to correct it because it's subconscious, it's automatic. Your body knows how to do it better than your conscious mind. And the subconscious communicates with the superconscious, or consciousness, or God. And then the right people come into play. The right circumstances begin to happen. And this happens with alignment. So you have to align the conscious, the subconscious, and the superconscious. And when you do, what you end up with is a well-oiled machine. Do you still make mistakes? Yeah. Do you still get frustrated? Yeah. But you have alignment. And when you have alignment, it's easier to correct the alignment than if you didn't have alignment in the first place. Things still happen. Unpredictable things still happen. But you'll be aware. So a heightened sense of awareness is just being able to pull yourself out of the box and look back in it. But it's very difficult to do that without a greater awareness. How do you achieve the awareness? Affirmations, meditation, vocalization, and visualization. Visualization is very important. Very, very important. So make a vision board. I've had religious people tell me, oh no, your vision board, no, that's evil. Evil. It's your subconscious. Okay. And what does your subconscious do? It takes you in baby steps towards your goal. Let's say you're on a diet. Okay. I've had to go on diets many times. Okay. So let's say you're on a diet and you're restricting calories. And let's say your target weight is, 195 pounds. And so you're right. I am so happy and grateful now that I am 195 pounds. Thank you. That's your affirmation. At night before you go to bed, you're going to speak that affirmation out loud. If you do that for 63 days, guess what's going to happen? You have a brand new habit. A brand new habit. Then you're at the party, right? On the weekend. And you pass the dessert table. And you take a good look at all those beautiful looking pieces of cake and pie and all of that, right? And you look at all the goodies, and your subconscious will go, wait a minute, you don't really need that, do you? You remember? 195 pounds, remember? And then you'll go, yeah, okay, I'm gonna pass. That's your subconscious. That's how it works. I don't care if you're working on a business plan. I don't care if you're working on a health plan. I don't care if you're working on developing a personal routine. It's all subconscious. People ask me, they come to my voice school for years. Our second company was a singing school. And they come to my singing school for years. Everybody thought I taught music. And at some point, I have to tell them there's nothing about music in what I'm teaching. This is physiology and subconscious learning. And then they kind of look at me kind of strange, like, oh, uncle, really? Yeah. Physiology and subconscious learning, subconscious training. We develop the muscles that people sing with. We do the same thing in life coaching. Why? Because of confidence. Because fear cannot live where confidence is. And the fastest way to get rid of fear is through the human voice. But it's physiology. It's developing the muscles that are used for speaking and singing. When you find your voice, you find yourself. You can apply it to music. You can apply it to public speaking. You can apply it to anything. You can apply it to cheering at the football game. You can apply it to whatever you want to use your voice for. Singing is one thing. It's just one thing you use your voice for. Every human being can sing. Every single last one of them. Not everybody has the confidence to sing. I've taken a lot of non-singers and turned them into singers. It had nothing to do with music. It had to do with physiology and psychology. That's it. That's it. It works the same way in every human being. The subconscious learns in repetition. The only thing a human being has to do is be interested in something to excel in it. That's it. Most people are unaware of the fact that if they're interested in something and they take the steps towards it, the doors begin to open. It doesn't matter how intelligent you are or how non-intelligent you are. Okay, most people don't know how intelligent they actually are. It has nothing to do with a score that you get in college or in high school or in elementary school. It has nothing to do with that. Everything in the universe is intelligent. Everything. The blades of grass outside. Everything. People think they have bad memories. Maybe they've been watching too many TV shows. Okay, you see that on comedies all the time. People forgetting things. People forgetting things. Have you been conditioned to believe that you forget things? Your subconscious takes in everything. It just takes the right thing to trigger it. That's all. When you speak it, you start believing it. Yeah, so affirmations, meditation, vocalization, and visualization. When you visualize it, when you vocalize it, that's the speaking part, Aura. Okay, when you meditate on it. Okay, the other thing, the other elements, so there's a couple of things with visualization, there's a couple of things with each one of them. One of the things with visualization is you have to see yourself worthy, first of all. Then you have to see yourself there, whatever there is, whatever the goal is. You have to see yourself there. So use vision boards like this. Yeah, like that. Oops. I'm going to clear these things here so I can show it to you. Like that. Okay. Or a gratitude board. This is actually a gratitude board. These are things that I already have. But you could put things on there that you want. Then that will be the focus. The reticular activating system in your brainstem will start to filter out everything else that you're not focused on. And your precision focus will start to bring whatever it is into your world. So the superconscious works with the subconscious to perform that action, along with your reticular activating system. And that's why when you're in the market for a red sports car, could be a red BMW maybe, and then you're driving around, you go, wow, I never knew there were so many red BMWs. Because your reticular activating system filters out everything else. Why? Because your focus is the red BMW. So you see more of them. And then pretty soon when you're not interested in it anymore and you have changed your focus, you don't see as many. And then you go, oh yeah, I don't see many red BMWs anymore. Because you have changed your focus. No, they don't all emit the same wavelength. And at different frequencies, you will experience different experiences and different people. Now, human beings don't just go up the ladder like that. Okay, we go up and down, we fluctuate. So when you catch yourself, maybe, let's say, performing a low vibrational activity, awareness is key. That's all. It's just awareness. So when you write it, you start believing it, Aura. When you speak it, you start believing it. When you meditate, so part of meditation is the focus. Part of it is non-engagement. The non-engagement part of meditation is like, say you visualize clouds, okay? And when thoughts come, you visualize them as the clouds. Sometimes you don't want to touch the clouds. Sometimes you don't want to engage with the thought. Sometimes you don't want to engage with the emotion. So you observe and you watch it go. And then it comes and then it goes. The emotion comes, you allow it to pass. Sometimes you feel that electricity in your body. You feel that ooh, like that, and it just passes. Okay, but you don't engage with it. You don't embrace it. You don't identify with it. You allow it to pass. And you become the observer. I'm not talking about placebos or the double slit experiment, Uncle Caillou. Quantum physics, yeah, we discussed that yesterday a little bit, but yeah, we're not talking about that now. But it's relative. It is relative. We're talking about observing feelings and emotions and allowing them to pass rather than engaging with them. But when you start to do this, Aura, as I was addressing your when you speak it, you start believing it. Yeah, so it becomes real because things start to come into play. The superconscious will bring certain things. Maybe you want a job at the bakery, and maybe that was a goal, so you start writing it down. You focus on which bakery you want to work at. And in a few days, you're at Starbucks having coffee, and you run into somebody that works at the bakery, and just so happens they need somebody, and you go and apply, and now you're working at the bakery. Coincidence? So if you believe there is a higher self, then you believe in the superconscious. If you believe there is God, then you believe in the superconscious. If you don't believe any of that, then life just happens randomly, and you wake up in the morning and go, let's see what happens today and how I'm going to react to it when it happens. And that's called a random existence. That's called a random life. But you can dictate how your life goes. You can design your life. All you need is one of these to start. Start writing. What do you want? Make a list. What are your goals? Make a list. It doesn't matter if you call them goals or manifestation. Manifestation happens whether you want it or not, whether you believe in it or not, because it's all subconscious. From the time you were born till you're 7 years old, your first paradigm begins to take shape. After that, you can change maybe 15 to 20% of it. But you don't have just one paradigm. You're a human being. You're a very complex individual. You've been made to feel less than in many respects, with many things. But you have the power. You just don't see it, but the power's in here. The kingdom's within. The kingdom's not out there. It's not up there. God is not up there. God is in here. You and God, or you and higher self, or you and consciousness, or however you want to say it, are partners. You are a co-creator with God. But we have eyes and we look out there. We have eyes and we look out there for the solution. The solution is always in here. Always. Ask, believe, receive. When you ask, your subconscious is obligated to answer. Intuitive thought comes from the superconscious. So the subconscious contains the topic, or the subject, or the objective. What's the goal? You have to install the goal into the subconscious. Then what happens? Well, the superconscious assists the subconscious, and you start getting intuitive thought. Intuitive thought of what? Intuitive thought pertaining to the subconscious. Whatever you have installed into the subconscious as the topic, as the subject, as the objective, as the purpose, then what happens? Well, then the right people come into view. Then the doors begin to open. Why? Because you're taking the steps. The universal law of action. In order to manifest something, you have to take steps. You have to take steps. Now, my clients are high performance individuals. These people are professionals. They're responsible for huge departments. They're responsible for big things. But I have them take tiny steps. And they take tiny little steps, and doors begin to open. And they go, whoa, this is amazing. I never knew it was like this. I never knew it was this easy. And I'm like, well, you're a human being. It's a very high blessing to be one of these. You know, you're a human. It's a huge blessing to be a human being. Animals only have this one experience. They look out like this. That's all they have. We can observe ourselves, and we can observe ourselves in motion. And because of that, we can be critical of ourselves. We can judge ourselves. There's a reason why it says, judge not and ye shall not be judged. Why? Because of your subconscious. Your subconscious will learn to be judgmental. Your subconscious will learn to be angry. Your subconscious will learn to be negative. Negative is a wide open category. Your subconscious will learn to be anxious. Your subconscious will learn to be fearful. Your subconscious will learn to be all of these things, but it also learns how to be happy. It learns how to be cheerful. It learns how to be kind. It learns how to be courteous. It learns how to be friendly. It learns how to be loving. It learns how to be empathetic. As a human, you have the ability to choose your reality. You can choose your reality. But your reality, let's look at the tree again one more time, okay? I always refer to the tree, picture a tree. The roots of the tree are your subconscious programs or what you believe. The trunk of the tree is your paradigm, the way you see the world, based upon what you believe, the roots, okay? The fruits of the tree are your actions, dictated by how you see the world, dictated by your beliefs. Now, those actions give results. You get results from these actions. You can change the actions at random. You can change random actions anytime. In other words, a good person can do something bad. An evil person can do something good. But if they really want to change something, it's not about the random acts. It's not about the random actions. It's about changing the core beliefs in the roots. Then the paradigm begins to change. Do humans have one paradigm? No. Don't buy into that either. You have many paradigms for many different things. There's a certain way you deal with your parents. There's a certain way you deal with your employer. There's a certain way you deal with your subordinates. There's a certain way you deal with your friends. There's a certain way you deal with your best friend. But all of these actions are built upon a paradigm that's built upon belief that's in your subconscious. Okay, and it's, Jay is saying, see you tomorrow. Thank you, Jay. It's 8 o'clock, so we have done another live. We thank you. We want to say aloha to everybody on TikTok, on Trovo in Europe, also on Twitch, also on YouTube, and of course, 2 pages on Facebook and Instagram. We want to say aloha to you from Hawaii, and hope you have a nice day. And this ends